Hello, I'm former journalist and political campaigner Phil Doherty, and this is Politics Unravelled. Please give the video a like and a subscribe on the way in because it helps the channel enormously. The SNP is desperate to end the Murrell affair as quickly as possible, but it isn't going to go away anytime soon, as newspaper headlines are showing. These are the people Indy supporters think are fit to run the country. Murrell stole £400,000 and Swinney et al. Knew, apparently, nothing about his light finger ways and the missing cash. Now, we have to take their word that they actually knew nothing. A bit like that German or that character in the memes a few years ago. You know the one that kept saying, I know nothing, I know nothing. I mean, it's said that only Sturgeon's hubby Peter Murrell was actually involved in stealing donors' cash, and no one else in the SNP knew. But what does that actually say about the SNP bigwigs? I mean, they knew, they were part of it, that the SNP had raised, hundreds of thousands of pounds in cash for their fantasy Indy ref? I mean, sheer logic would suggest, at least, okay, that they must have known there was naught left of all the money that was raised. I mean, and that had basically just disappeared. Or were they so stupid or just didn't care that it had suddenly disappeared without a trace? I mean, how is this not okay possible in a political party? Either way, complicit by default or just plain stupid, it isn't really a good look for the SNP. And these are the people that Indy supporters have fostered onto us yet again. At what point are the actual snats going to see the SNP for what they really are? I mean, they're either thieving bar stewards or so incompetently financial wise that they can't even count. I mean, it's one or the other. As mentioned, this is supposed to be for an indie ref, which we all know was never going to happen in any case. And how many times you have to be fooled before you realise that you're an actual fool? I mean, it's mind blowing. In Scotland, it would seem there's actually a lot of fools, as the last Scottish elections attest. I mean, really, you'd rather vote for a thieving SNP than another party. I mean, what is the matter with you? Who would vote for a party who's involved in theft of this scale? I mean, what does that actually say about you? Besides that you're clearly as bright as a pitch black room. I mean, in any other part of the UK, a party that had their stiff donations on this scale will be out in their ear and they would never get back in again. But not in Scotland, where stealing supporters' money for bogus pretendy refs is just tickety boo. I mean, what next? Sacrificing your bends on the altar of de facto indie refs? Refusing to shift no matter how much the SNP runs Scotland into the ground? When does this madness end? Look, indie ref isn't happening. Accept reality. Stop wasting your vote on a party that steals your cash. The SNP is an actual failure. They've been in power since 2007 and nothing, absolutely nothing, is actually better than it was before. Just about everything in Scotland is actually worse than when the SNP came to power. From new hospitals that kill patients, ferries that continuously break down, education that just brainwashes, promised roads that have never been built. It just goes on and on and on and on. And now we have the SNP chief executive, Murray Foot, telling Indy supporters to shut up. He doesn't want them supporting calls for a public inquiry into the affair. Why? What's he terrified of? What is there more to actually come? I mean, what is Murray wanting to hide? Why is he so terrified of a public inquiry? If the SNP is innocent, yeah, my name is Mahatma Gandhi, then why wouldn't Mr. Foot want to clear the party's name with a public inquiry? Now, surely, if the SNP has got nothing to hide, a public inquiry will be appropriate? No? Well, we all know he doesn't want one because he wants to close the entire episode down and have no more public scrutiny against the SNP. Move along, there's nothing to see here. But that's what they said when all this erupted into view. They denied, and they denied. No one apparently knew that £400,000 of ring-fenced Indy cash had just disappeared. Even if you actually take their word for it, with a big pinch of salt, that no one knew that 400,000 had just gone AWOL, what does this actually say about them, the SNP? These are the people who are actually running Scotland. They're in charge of budgets totaling hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds. Yet they cannot even keep control of their own party's finances and donations. What level of incompetence is there within the SNP for this to happen? These are the people that many Scots voted again back into power. I mean, what does this actually say about an Indy supporter that they'd vote for a party full of Indy nonsense and that literally steals from them? It's not as if Scotland has actually been better run under the SNP. Quite the opposite, in fact. And the SNP knows Indy Ref 2 isn't happening. This is why they keep trying to pull the wool over their supporters' eyes with pretendy refs and de facto refs and all the other nonsense that they come out with. How many times do you have to be fooled before you realise that you're a fool? If you keep voting SNP, then you have to be the biggest fool going. I mean, let's admit it. They have pulled the wool over your eyes over and over and over again. And finally, Murrell coughed up the £400,000 worth of theft. Well, where's the other 266,000 gone? There was £660,000 raised, and that's disappeared. Where's that disappeared to? It was supposed to be ring fenced. That means it can't be used for anything else. Where's the cash?